I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Skywatch.Ai insurance is on demand, and anytime you need it, check out the link below. Be sure to check out the stuff you see here on the screen. The drawing is tomorrow. Click on the Patreon link down below and become a Patreon on the channel, and you could win one of top 3 prizes right here. What's up, my fellow drone maniacs? Welcome back to the Drone Camp shop. Thank you for subscribing, everybody. Today we're going to check out the GepRC Phoenix. It's a 125mm. It says on GearBest that it's an indoor FPV RC drone. It's an outdoor drone, guys. Don't get that confused. Don't try to fly this one inside. It is a beast. And you can fly this on 3S. We're going to go ahead and take a look at it on the bench, and then we'll go outside and do some flying with it. Now, this quad has some decent specs on here. We do have a switchable VTX from 48 channels, 5.8, and up to 200 milliwatt, and it does have an Omnibus F4 on there and 12 amp D-Shot ESCs. You've got a beeper and a capacitor in the back, which is great, and you have LEDs underneath that TPU mount. You've got an XT30 there, which is pretty standard. You have 2 extra little tubes that are for your receiver wires that come in there. You can snip those in half and put those on there. It also has a dipole coming out from the top of the VTX. It does not have any type of VTX control, so you have to use the buttons on the side. You do have some aluminum on this one as well, and a nice flat top on there if you want to add that Hawkeye Firefly, which I like a lot. The camera has plenty of protection on here, side to side and on the bottom. I like that the PCB on the RunCam Swift is covered up. So 600 TVL on that camera. It's a really nice setup for FPV. And I'm looking at these SpeedX motors. They do say GepRC on the other side as well. And those are actually 1106 and they're 4500 kV motors. So plenty of power on 3S. And since you have 12 amp ESCs, that's what I'm going to recommend that you run this quad on. And it looks like the hardware is pretty much the same top and bottom for the bolts. You have gem fan flash props in the box. Those are 2540s, and you get 2 sets. There's 2 sets in each bag, so you actually get 4 sets of props in the box with this quad. Not a bad value. The bottom plate is going to be 3mm, and your side plates underneath that 70-75 aluminum is going to be 1mm. So there's plenty of protection in there for that 1mm side plate. I had no problems with it. Now, they give you a ton of extras in the box, but they don't give you a battery, so everything you see here is included inside the box. I like it that they do have the RunCam controller in there. You get 2 different straps, some stickers, and some extra mounts, and an extra dipole, an extra XT30, which is always nice. Let's go ahead and put this one on the scale. I'll let you know what it weighs without the battery. We've got 95 grams without the battery. That's pretty decent. Now let's add the 3S850, and that's going to be the battery I recommend to fly on this one. 167 grams. Total takeoff weight with props and everything. That's a really lightweight. No need to register this one with the FAA. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the GepRC Phoenix off the ground, and right away it does feel pretty punchy on 3S. Now, if you want a quad that flies with a limit of 3S and you still want a lot of power and a lot of speed, these 1106s do really nice with a 3S 850. If you're going to go any higher than that, you're probably going to compromise these ESCs. Running only 12 amp on this one, I feel like they probably should have put something like 20 amp or 25 amp on here, considering the price on this one is around the $190 mark, with around 200 with a receiver. So something to kind of consider there. But what you get, the quality of this stack in here, it's actually the GepRC flight controller Omnibus F4, and that's their total stack, which is really nice. It came out earlier this year, and I've done other micro builds with this particular stack, and it performs really well. So paired up with their frame that they have, it was extremely durable. Today I treed this one twice, and I threw 2x4s at it to get it out the first time. The second time it was up about 75 feet up in a tree and impossible to get up to, but I gotta say, this thing is a tank, and if you spend the money on this one, $180, you're gonna get your money's worth out of this quad. Flight characteristic wise, I felt really comfortable with it, and line of sight, it's really stable, and you don't have to do any PID tuning out of the box. This is another one of those quads that you can fly right out of the box with no tuning, bind it up, set up your modes and switches, and you're good to go. So I think we have another winner here as far as quality and flight performance and durability. So all three of those check out on this quad. So let's go ahead and do some FPV with this quad, and I'll show you how it flies and what the OSD and everything looks like on the screen. Here we go. Alright guys, here we go. Let's do some FPV. Now, if you guys have watched my channel before, you know that I love micro brushless, and I get a little bit wild with micro brushless sometimes, and I get a little carried away with some of my flying. Now, the voltage on the screen right here doesn't really look like it is in sync with my battery. This is an older battery, so it's one of those old nano puffs, I call them. They're from Hobby King. They're not that great, but it's also 2 or 3 years old. So aside from that battery voltage, the flying, that's what you're here to see. I have tons of control with this quad. It's really precise, no bid tuning. I didn't change anything. I left the super rates at 0.70, and as you can see, I've got plenty of control. Yaw authority is really nice, and it's really snappy. And the coolest thing about micro brushless, if you've never flown micro brushless, you can really get away with a lot of stuff. I mean, I've banged off of stuff, kind of flown out of it and kept going. It's kind of amazing without even having prop guards on the machine. So you can do huge tree dives with this, and with those 1106 motors, you've got plenty of power to pull back out of stuff, and really good control close to the ground. I'm able to kind of skirt in and out of these rocks in between the trees right here, coming close to myself with a little flip over my head, and back over here to this crane, or this digger, as my son would call it, not a crane. I get corrected all the time by my son. He tells me what the big equipment is. But plenty of control, and I'm loving this. It's a really nice quad on 3S. A lot of people feel like they need to fly 4S on a micro brushless. Yeah, and I do crash. You know, like the Baby Hawk R. Nice quad, a little bit hard to work on, but it flies great. But this one is, yeah, right there, right off the container. And I was able to fly out of it, and taking some more chances right there. But yeah, the Baby Hawk R is also a nice quad, but this one is probably a little easier to work on. I like the GepRC frames a lot. Really easy to access the stack. 4 screws on top releases that top plate, and that's kind of what I'm looking for, is like an all-around racer. And I think this one's really an all-around racer, honestly. It is a little more expensive by about $40 to $50, but you're also getting something a little more standard here, not so proprietary. And you can use pretty much any 20x20 stack on this. If you burnt something out on this board, you could pull the whole stack off and put something else on here, and it will fit inside this stack with the height. The layer height in there is nice and tall, so it's not a super low rider. And I'm going to try to fly up through the canopy here for you guys and like take a little chance and figure out where in the world I can get back into the bike track. It looks like a good spot to go back down. Man, the micro brushless are so cool. If you don't have a micro brushless yet, I don't care if you buy this one or you buy another one, just get one in your hanger, in your collection, and you can really rip. You can rip balls on micro brushless. It's so much fun. So much more fun than Tiny Whoop, and in a way sometimes funner than 5-inch, because you can fly and people don't even really notice you're flying these. No one cares unless you're ripping around a playground with kids there. Not cool. Don't do that. Flying up to another camping, I was really feeling a lot of comfort with this quad. I mean, I have complete control with it. The PIDs are in perfect alignment, no vibrations. Everything feels really good, and I went to this second spot right here coming up and started seeing some of those really tall Oregon trees, 75-foot pine trees, and look at this dive right back to the ground. Plenty of throttle control. Wanted to do it again. Decided to go way up this time and come back around, back to the ground, no problem. Another, probably the tallest tree right here, this pine tree right here, is notorious. A lot of people dive this one. And I'm doing a little corkscrew on the way down, and my camera angle wasn't high enough to see the branch below me, and there it sits. So about 75 feet up. Now I got to try to get it down.
caught in the ground. That's what's nice about the CO2 is it just fills it up really quick.
Oh yeah, right in there. You're actually on the branch below it, I think. Just the one just below it. That's high up there. Oh, yeah, baby. All right, yep, that's the one. Guys, if we can get the beanbag to come down, we can really yank on the branch. Maybe get the drone out of the tree. Come on down, come on down. So with lots of patience, we're going to try a different angle and try to come up there from below it, from this angle. Too low. After this, we might have to go get some CO2. Oh, that might, oh yeah, baby.
All you gotta do is call out Thor.
Yeah, baby. He shot the hole. Loosen up, baby. There it is, guys. We got it out of the tree. Thanks to Rob and the drone retrieval unit. We shot for probably 15 to 25 times, but absolutely worth the money. The drone retrieval unit saved the quad, the day, and now we can go back to flying because it didn't even look like I broke a prop up there. We got some bent props, but bend it back and we'll fly again. So Rob saved the day, dude. Thank you, Rob.
No problem.
That was super awesome.
Drone recovery unit.
Dude, you gotta have one of these things. Drone retrieval unit.
Oh, retrieval.
I will put the link down below for you guys so you guys can check this thing out. You can pump it up with a bike pump. If you don't have CO2 cartridges, this is a nice backup. It's not too hard to pump it up. You pump it up to about 120 PSI and make sure that this lever is closed when you pump it up. And once you get it pumped up, pop it off there. Put your bean bag down in this end right here and fire it away.
Comes with 2 bean bags and about 200 feet of this heavy duty twine.
And they never sent me one of these for review. Mr. Steele got one, but I think this would be right at home on the Drone Camps channel because a lot of you guys could really benefit from having one of these, and it's actually pretty easy to use this. Just point it up at the gap that you're trying to shoot it through, and it works actually pretty damn good. It's awesome. Definitely worth the money. Thank you, Rob. And by the way, I brought some swag for you. So
I get swag?
So 35 amp ESCs and a beta flight controller.
Nice.
Thanks for your help, dude.
Wow, I did this for free, dude.
Yeah, man, quad in my pocket for you.
Awesome.
So build something up.
I will use this.
All right.
This will not go to waste.
So thanks for watching the Drone Camps channel, guys. That's Rob and I'm Justin. We'll see you on the next one.
Later.
Peace.